He's going all the way. 20, 15, 10. Touchdown. Texas Tech takes home the victory.
Welcome to the Broadway Shuffle with Conrad, Clayton, and Zyler. I am Brennan. We've got Texas Tech back in action against the Houston Cougars at 6 o'clock on Saturday night. We will be cooking up some Cougar juice this week here on the Broadway Shuffle. If it is your first time listening, wherever you are and however you may be listening, we are so glad you are here. We're going to get into our Broadway Shuffle Top 25, go through what you need to know about Houston, give our picks and predictions as well. Good to be back, guys. Missed you on Monday. All four of us back in action now that it's game time for Texas Tech. Zyler, before we get into all things Houston and Texas Tech, what's our first word of the episode?
Yeah, I'm going to have two first words. One, if you are not a longtime listener, Cougar Juice is a callback to when our Kool-Aid factory was struggling, and we released a flavor before we went up to Pullman, Washington, and then got pulverized. The flavor was Cougar Juice, and we had a lot of it left over. So maybe we're going to rerun it. I don't know what we're going to be doing here, but that actually cracks me up that you brought that back up.
I had to bring it up early, man. I mean, it's the Cougar Juice. It's the best, and we get it twice this year. We get it for BYU and Houston, man. I can't wait. I love me some Cougar Juice.
It was a disaster. I don't know if we should be calling back, but I have some left over I can still sell if we need. But anyway, your first word of the day, I'm just going to set the tone real early with this Houston game. Right now, your Texas Tech team is outscoring teams 133-3 in the first half of this season. You have quite literally never lost in Houston Stadium. And since 1990, they've beaten you one time. You are 11-1 against the Cougars over the last 25 years. You're 11-3 in Big 12 games that Morton starts and finishes without departing to injury. It's Houston week. It's time to go 2-0 in the conference. I think you've got every opportunity to do so. And I think you should be expected to do so. I'm usually kind of the pessimist or maybe the realist. I feel really good about this game. I feel really confident about this game. Houston's a good team, but I think you have every opportunity to go out there and get a second road W this Saturday.
What a tone setter, Conrad. Zyler's coming in excited, ready to go for Houston. The bye week was good for Z, and he's here being positive 2 minutes into the show. That's got to be a good sign for the Red Raiders.
That's a good sign for the Red Raiders. That's a good sign for our listeners. That's a bad sign for the Houston Cougars. When Zyler is optimistic, you should run as fast as you can the other way, because that means that the things are probably going to go the way for the Red Raiders. I think it's going to be an exciting game. I think it's going to be fun. Never losing in Houston Stadium is also something that we need to be aware of, like Zyler mentioned. But at the same time,
let me caveat, you played there one time. So you're 1-0, but it's so that's not
selective.
As
Selective reasoning is okay here on the Broadway Shuffle to make a Texas Tech argument. So no, I think it'll be a good game. I think it'll be interesting to see how the bye week played for the Red Raiders. We'll be more healthy. Obviously, you get some bumps and bruises along the way, but I think it's going to be a good week for the Red Raiders. And the optimism is flowing here on the Broadway Shuffle. Cougar Juice 2.0 is going to treat us better than it did the last time.
Clayton, you pretty confident in that it's going to be a turnaround week for the Red Raiders when it comes to drinking some Cougar juice?
Yeah, hopefully it'll treat us better than last time, but I think it will. After having watched Houston versus Oregon State, and I know sports don't necessarily work that way where you can just watch common opponents, but in this case, I fear for what the Tech D-line is going to do to their offensive line, so I'm pretty confident in the game.
Yeah, man. Well, we got a lot to get into regarding the game. It feels weird. Texas Tech, coming off a bye, has had some struggles in the past. I'm not going to bring up last year's final score against Baylor, but it was rough in Lubbock coming off a bye. Much different team this year. A lot more reason for optimism. Defensive line being one of them. But Z, what do we need to know about Houston? They are undefeated. They're 4-0. They did have to battle with Oregon State, but that was in Corvallis in Oregon. They do have a Big 12 win against Colorado already this year. So some reason for optimism on the Cougar side as well. What do we need to know about Houston going into Saturday night?
Yeah, and I actually, I know I started that way, but this is what I think is a good team. I think, and I wrote this in our previews, I think Houston's a year away. I think they're building. They're clearly better than they were last year. They've got, and where I think their strength is, and I think any Houston fan would tell you this too, the defensive side of the ball is actually really stout. They have been better defensively than what I thought they were going to be. They brought in some really high impact transfers that I don't think people were really talking about. Khalil Lafu is a really good defensive tackle for them. Carlos Allen and Eddie Walls. Those are the three best defensive players in my mind. 66 tackles between those three guys on the defensive line. That is a massive number. And I believe Eddie Walls, I may have to fact check myself here. No, Carlos Allen actually leads the team in tackles, and he's on the defensive line. So those guys are kind of the tone setters. They do a lot of work for that defense. The secondary is really good. They play a lot of zone, a lot of guys that can just really sit down and do well. Thankfully, Barron is a really good quarterback against zone. He's actually rated as he's tied for first in the nation on passer rating against zone defense. So it'll be an interesting schematic battle. What do they do? I respect Willie Fritz a lot. He's a program builder, the head coach there. They're going to come out prepared. He's a guy that knows what he's doing. He knows how to build a program, and he's played up against his competition plenty of times before. I think it will be a battle. You're clearly the better team on paper. You should win this game, but Houston's going to give everything they got. I expect them to come out swinging, and I don't expect them to go out without a fight.
Clayton, when you're looking at Sheil Wood kind of making his return back to Houston, the defensive coordinator last year for the Cougars, that's a fairly big storyline. I know, Z, you're looking out for that as well. Do you think that benefits Texas Tech, just having the familiarity of Wood being there? I know it's a new system, new team, but you got to feel pretty good knowing that you're bringing in one of the best defenses in the country and the former coordinator of Houston with you into the game.
Yeah, I was trying to think about how I thought about that matchup. Like, if that advantage goes to the underdog, being familiar with the scheme, or like the better unit, I feel like I lean towards like that advantage is kind of negated by just our personnel. Like there's only so much you can do if you're just being physically outmatched at the line of scrimmage. But the OC there wasn't at Houston last year, correct? He was at I know he was at Tulane with Wood, but he wasn't there last year.
What's it? Slade Nagel, I believe, is the guy.
Yeah.
And pretty good. They've had Clayton. I mean, you know about the offense. You could talk about them. They've got some dudes.
Yeah, they actually. I feel like their skill position players are like clearly a step up from what Utah has. But I don't think their offensive line is as good, and I don't think Wegman is as good as Dampier, even if Dampier played horribly against Tech. But that's just my thoughts on it.
Yeah,
I think Weigman is a better passer.
Conrad's shaking his head.
I was not impressed with Dampier against us. So I guess that makes me down on him as a whole. Weigman definitely is a better passer than Dampier. So, but we'll see if that actually plays itself into them getting yards or being a threat against us or not, because I don't know that either one of them necessarily scare me all that much, but we'll see. I don't know. I think I may take Weigman over Dampier. He did play in the SEC at one point. That's one of my criteria.
Yeah, I saw. By the way, I saw someone comment, I think on Spotify, saying you guys are turning into Locked On SEC with Conrad's comments. We apologize. We are definitely not trying to turn into that.
Hey,
but Conrad,
guys,
to go way too down.
I need the Conrad hate. Like, keep it
going.
Trust.
No. Hey, trust me, guys. We tried real hard to talk about Texas Tech on last week's episode, but they're just, we can talk about what it meant for Tech, and we did, but we're also all college football fans as well. We do watch the SEC, or at least one of us does, and I'm going to keep watching the SEC because it's good football. So I'm just telling you how it is.
Hey, you're allowed to tell us how it is, man. Well, hey, Conrad, Zyler mentioned Barron Morton to get back to Texas Tech. What's smooth transition here? What's your confidence level in Barron heading into this game?
Yeah, I think Barron's going to play really well. I'm glad he's ready to go as practice. I think he'll be back to his normal self. I think we'll see him play well on the road there. Obviously, the game against Utah wasn't exactly up to par for him. Didn't play that badly, but then again, he did get knocked out of the game pretty early. So, we'll see. I think he'll be good. I think he'll be prepared. I think he's, walking into Houston Stadium is not even close to walking into Utah Stadium. No offense to the Cougars. I know plenty of Red Raiders will be there being in the Lone Star State, but I'm optimistic for Barron. I think he's going to go in there. I mean, I'll say it now. We'll talk over unders later, but I think he'll probably throw 275 yards and 3 touchdowns, maybe 1 interception. I think he's going to play really well. Believe in Barron. I think, getting the 2 weeks off, getting healthy will be better for him. Zyler, are you as optimistic on Barron as I am for this game? Or are you kind of like, well, we'll see how he is coming off the injury and, coming off, obviously not playing his best game against Utah. What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, I wanted to kind of pose this question to you guys. Like, and I was thinking about this the other day. We were talking about it at work with some guys, and it's just such an interesting position to be in where, like, your job is to be a quarterback. And it's like, if my job, I had somebody looking over my shoulder the whole time and saying, I can do your job better than you. I can do your job better than you. Just let me have a chance. Like, that's so much pressure. It would make it a lot harder to perform. And so I hope that Barron has a really good, like, confidence builder game. Not that he needs that, but something that kind of quiets any of the angst. And I think this is such an unfortunate game to have right after Utah, because I think this is probably the second best defense on paper that you'll play all year. It's definitely not West Virginia. It's definitely not Oklahoma State. It's not Kansas State. It could be Arizona State. That's an argument that I'd hear. But, I mean, he's going to start off with probably number 1 and number 2 defenses he's going to face. That's a tough spot to be in. I think I like that line where you have him. I'd be happy. Like, if you offered me 275, 3-1 right now, I think I would take it and feel pretty good about the performance and your chances of winning the game.
It's actually terrifying to think about how good Houston's defense could be if they kept Halsey, Wilson, and AJ Holmes and their DC. I mean, they could have one of the best defenses in the conference. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, thankfully they don't. And we have one of those guys, which is nice too.
That's going to be the thing. Like, I expect kind of game flow. I think it's going to be pretty tight in the first half. The depth on the defensive line for them is just not where it needs to be. There is a massive drop off from those first 3 guys because they run mainly a 3-down set. They'll run some 4 down with their jack position. It's just a huge drop off from those top 4 guys down to the next 4. And I think as the game progresses, like you saw against Utah, you're going to start opening up some rushing lanes. You're going to start getting to some stuff. But it's a good defense. I definitely don't want to give the impression that it's not. I think you're going to have to play really well. And Bear's going to have to play really crisp. He's going to have to make good decisions. And it's just Barron on the road, man.
It's a fair question to ask at this point. Z, we've talked about this, and you called this against Utah. We were doing our preview for Utah, and you said, is Barron going to disappear again in the second quarter, first quarter? And he did. And it's not a knock necessarily that Barron can't continue to perform, but it's just sustaining drives. Like, what I want to see is more so, can you go 30 yards? Can you just get 1 first down? Can you go, and I'm talking, of course, I'd love to score every time, but I'm saying just sustain. Sure. Don't get sacked or throw a pick or have a fumble that knocks you back 20 yards. Also, the crowd won't be like Utah, but just managing the huddle and managing the front 4 and the offensive line and not having so many pre-snap penalties, and Barron just managing that on the road as well too. I think someone said crisp, like, it just have a clean start. I don't need to score 50 points, but can you just manufacture drives and not disappear? Yeah, well, that'd be great. And not disappear for a quarter or a half. I think that's really what I want to see, at more so than stats. I just want to see it look a little cleaner than Utah and make it easier on the defense where they don't have to get a stop every single time.
Man, dude, this is the thing about the Houston pass defense. And I know these are unadjusted for opponents, but 31% success rate against the pass right now. Like, that is top 10 number in the country. Obviously unadjusted. That's just a raw number. And they played 3.5 pretty bad teams. That's just where I think Barron's going to have to be really good. And I think people are expecting us to play Houston and just kind of curb stomp them. And that's just not what I expect from this game. Like, especially on the offensive side, this is not going to be name your number. This is a good defensive unit. I think they're going to be ready to go. I think where Houston's going to struggle is on the offensive side. And I think that's where I think you could win this game, like, really comfortably, scoring 24 points. I don't know that that's what's going to happen, but I just struggle to see Weigman and Cozy, all that tight end that they've got, who's probably the best tight end in the conference, which hats off to him. I just don't think the receiving core is up to the task. I don't think that offensive line especially is up to the task. I think it's going to be rough sledding for the Houston Cougars on offense.
Well, that's good news. Well, let's define success, Conrad. You said you're expecting 50, you're expecting touchdowns every drive. What is success for Texas Tech Saturday night against Houston?
Success is going to look like one thing, especially on the road, but a win. A win is success. Duh. You guys are probably like, well, Captain Obvious. Of course, a win is successful. But I think starting there is always the most important thing because you can't take road wins for granted. Like they're not something you can take for granted. I think success looks like one turnover or less on the offensive side of the ball, 3 sacks, and then maybe a forced two forced turnovers is what I would probably say. I do think that Texas Tech's roster from top to bottom obviously is much better, and maybe I'm just too optimistic out of what I've seen from this group. I mean, thinking about the first 4 games and the way we've looked in each one of them, they're not. I don't think they're. I mean, we're sitting here. We're going to release this Thursday morning. I don't see a world that they move the ball. Like I just don't. Like I don't see Connor Wegman moving the ball against us. He's a better passer, sure, but this defense, we know we're stacked. On the offense side of the ball, what I want to see is I want to see a confident Barron. If I see a confident Barron after the first drive, I'll know it's going to be a good game. So those would be kind of how I would define success. Zyler, would you share the same metrics in terms of defining success, or would you maybe throw some curveballs in there?
Yeah, I think the turnovers are going to be tough to come by. You know, Willie Fritz teams rarely turn the ball over. I think Weigman only has 1 turnover on the year, and it was his first pass in the Oregon State game. I really just I think this offensive line is not going to be up to the task against the Tech defensive front. I think success for me is, you know, control it early, you know, get up 2 scores sometime in the second quarter and then just step on their throat. Don't ever let them back in the game. Take the crowd out of it. And just don't let it be a 1-score game sometime in the fourth quarter. You know, crazy things happen. You know, busted plays. And that's the other thing. I do think if you believe Weigman is the best passer you've faced so far, which I think is debatable, we've shown some propensity for busted explosive plays over the top. You know, you think about the one in the Utah game, you think about the one they should have had in the Utah game. And now obviously none of those went for 0 yards, but you could look back on that and think that that's an extra 150 yards that Utah left on the table. And so I don't want to see any of that because they do have, you know, Amari Thomas is a pretty quick receiver. Like they have some guys that can take the top off. Don't let them max protect, send 2 guys down there and bomb away. Just really play a complete game. Don't beat yourself. And I think you should be okay. And then just watch out for the stupid stuff like the fake punts and the onside kicks and the game-changing variables that teams are going to throw at you. So that's the other piece.
Yeah, good point. Good point. Clayton, what do you think? Texas Tech, let me pose it this way, I guess. Texas Tech will win if?
I think there's a lot of answers to that question, to be honest. But I think if you, as long as you don't lose the turnover battle, I don't think they can win. I just don't think they have enough. Like if you're putting them in negative field position each time with a punt, even if your offense is not having the best day, I don't think they can consistently go down the field and put up points. I think it would take you committing like 2+ turnovers, giving some short fields for them to win the game. So I guess I'll say Tech wins the game if you tie or win the turnover battle.
Okay.
Love it.
I love that, man. I think that's great. You guys are on fire today. By the way, before we get to our over-under, I have 2 quick things. One, if you're still listening and have not subscribed yet, please subscribe. You see the banner on our screen. Follow all of our social media channels. It helps us grow the show, and we appreciate you listening at this point. 2, I listened to some of y'all's episode on Monday. I heard at the end of it that I was a Tommy Tuberville for going to the Bills game, so it'll be my goal to never miss an episode. Thanks, guys, for calling me a fraud for having a good time with Bills Mafia on Sunday, man. But I
Brennan,
don't think I was going to let
Bills
that
game?
slide. Don't think I was going to let that slide.
The listeners are interested though. How was
oh
the Bills
man,
game?
it was an absolute blast. I was a part of Mafia doing things that they tend to do up there in Western New York, and they adopted me well for the afternoon.
Compare the Bills Stadium to Jones AT&T. Which wins and why?
Oh, Jones is way better than Highmark for sure. It
Really?
honestly,
Are you being serious?
I'm being serious. Yeah, I think that Highmark is old and it seats like 67,000, maybe 70,000. It's probably the same size. Like I was in section 320 and it would have felt like I was at a prime seat in a big stadium, you know, like section 200 or something. It was they're building a brand new one that looks fantastic, but it was a lot of fun, man. The people up there are great. Shout out to my family for giving me a good time. And it was a lot of fun. Yeah. So
Conrad, does Josh Allen fit the mold of QBs you're looking for? Is that kind of in the vein of quarterbacks that you'd root for?
If
Yeah,
Josh Allen was at LSU, Conrad would love
Oh
him.
God.
well, let's say this. Josh Allen played at Wyoming, so he does not fit the first mark of playing in the SEC. But I respect Josh a lot. I will say I don't really appreciate the Josh Allen over Patrick Mahomes talk that I hear sometimes. I'm sure Texas Tech fans will agree with me on that. Josh is a great quarterback.
Are we
Multiple
just
time
talking?
MVP,
If we're
like,
talking
good guy.
if we're talking pure talent, I'll die on the hill that Josh Allen's more talented than Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, I've still has Josh have the Bills ever beat the Chiefs?
I'm
in the
talking
playoffs
pure
when it
talent.
mattered?
I'm not talking wins and losses.
Oh well,
That's all I'll say.
I'm glad that all-time greatness is judged on talent because Dan Marino's surely not at the top.
We got to get back.
We got to get back to over under. We'll debate Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes in January.
That's a separate episode.
Yeah, that's a playoff separate episode game. But let's get to over unders for Texas Tech against Houston. I'll start here. This is a good one. Over under 0.5 interceptions for Barron. Is he throwing one or is he throwing zero?
I think he's throwing one.
Over. Yeah, he's throwing one.
I'll say 0. I'll ride with Barron.
I'm going to ride with Barron too. I'm going to go with Clayton. Let's go 2 for 2. Look, he needs to. I think when I mentioned my key to success, just Barron limiting turnovers on the road. And if you look at some of the quarters that he's had, look at the Oregon State. You had the bad pick in the end zone, the intentional grounding. Then he doesn't really play much in the second half. Then he goes into Utah and has 2 more picks. So his last couple quarters have been a little off. And so I just want to see him have a clean game. So I'll say 0 because I think that's a big key to the game for Barron Morton.
If Barron throws 0 interceptions, you're winning, and I don't think it's particularly close.
Okay, I like that. Okay, so we'll go. You let us know in the comments what you guys think. Let's go over under 2.5 sacks for the game.
Over.
Okay, I'm going over.
You really haven't. You're like disrupting people defensively, and people don't do long drop back sacks because they know they can't, and so it kind of works. But you rarely see teams that are like, yeah, let's take this 7-step drop, let's let this route develop, and we'll just hope our line holds up. I think even if you don't get that sack number, you're really going to disrupt their passing game. They're not going to be able to hit developing stuff down the field unless it's max protect and 12 personnel or something like that.
Yeah, I agree. I think over here, this defensive front has shown me enough that they're very dominant. I expect them to get after Weigman. Is it Weigman or Weigman? How do you say it?
I think it's
Weigman.
All right, whatever.
Cooper Weigman. Or Connor Weigman. Sorry.
Connor. Yeah, Cooper.
Connor.
Good Coop.
Cooper.
Good Coop.
I don't know why I'm thinking about Cooper.
Okay, Brennan, I wanted to bring something up, and I know this isn't on the doc. I feel like there's this air around the Tech faithful that I haven't felt really ever, except maybe some basketball. And really, the 2019 basketball team is the only time I felt this from the fans. The way that Tech fans talk about our team, I think the expectation from most fans is that we're never losing a game the rest of the regular season. And while that, I mean, maybe that could happen. Do y'all sense that? Do you feel kind of like the overconfidence or like this team is amazing? Like, I think they are. Really
we've got one of them here for sure. And Conrad just starts licking his lips at the question. He started licking his chops, man. Conrad, what do you think?
Let us have our moment.
No, I'm not saying don't enjoy it.
When has there ever been? I mean, honestly, like let's be honest. Since I became a Texas Tech fan, since I was a freshman in 2015, there has not been a single time where it's been reasonable to even feel that way. And at least now it's like reasonable. So like,
it is very reasonable.
It's reasonable.
Like SP Plus has this as the second most likely team to go undefeated.
But it's only like 24%.
There you go, Zyler.
Okay,
There's your analytics. There's your analytics.
There's the analytical
there it is.
Percentage, but it's still second in the country behind Oregon, Z. That's the second highest chance.
I know, but it's just like this stuff. And Clayton brought this up the other day where it's like, we have quite literally in our lifetimes never seen a Texas Tech defense this good. And so we're like, this is the best defense that the world has ever seen.
Yeah, but okay.
Because
exactly.
It's not. This is not the best defense the world has ever seen. Like, it's really, really good.
Okay.
Is it
the best defense Lubbock, Texas has ever seen?
Yeah,
potentially.
That is not the world.
Yeah, but still, that's
it's my world.
You only need.
It's
Tech.
the best. It's the best Big 12 defense I think since either Oklahoma State's with Jim Knowles or Texas in
That was in
23.
21. That was 21, I think, right?
Was it in 22 where Oklahoma State shut us out in Lubbock? It's like the most miserable Tech game I think I've ever been to.
Yeah,
Freezing.
either that one or UT's defense was pretty good there last year too.
Let me say this.
Yeah, go ahead, Brennan.
Sorry, Z. To your point, though, I was listening to Joel Klatt, the beloved Joel Klatt here on this podcast, right? My guy, and he predicted
How is he?
He's doing great. Joel's doing really good.
Okay.
Conrad. And he picked Texas Tech to win the Big 12, and he's talking about Tech, and he says, what I saw from the team and what I saw from the players and the chemistry this guy's has, I would be shocked if they, at worst, finished 12-1. He was like, I could see them going undefeated, and I could also see them making a run in the playoff. I think they're that good. They have answers everywhere. This is the Joel Klatt that was getting destroyed on Tech Twitter, and here he is singing our praises. And I'm like,
He's
if
trying
a
to make
guy
up
like
for
that,
his mistakes.
yeah,
I just like,
but that's a national media. Like multiple guys are saying that. I'm seeing projections. Bud Elliott has us third in the playoff.
Bud Elliott can.
And I know.
Okay, but Zyler, if you were an Ohio State fan, would you feel like you're gonna win every game?
Yeah, because they do that all the time. But even
Yes,
they're
but
really
the-
good teams that don't go undefeated. Like they
No,
won
for
the
sure.
title last year and they didn't.
They don't
go
play in the Big
undefeated.
12.
They play in the Big 10.
Okay, but Z, let's hold on. Let's time out real quick.
Okay,
Tyler, you
here's
started
really-
this episode so strong. You
I
started.
know. I'm not saying we're going to lose to Houston. I'm just saying, like, I'll see fans talking like, oh, yeah, we're going to kick the crap out of Kansas State. We're going to dominate Arizona State. It's like, how do you know that? Like,
Yeah, no, I think that's
it's hard to win football games on the road, and there's other good teams. And it's not – and I worry that the first loss that we have is going to be apocalyptic for the fan base. Like they're going to be like, this should have never happened. Fire everybody.
okay. So we obviously haven't
That's the sense I
tasted.
get.
We haven't tasted a win like Utah in a long time. I think that's fair to say. And
Totally
it's
fair.
also fair to say that we have not been in the national limelight like we have in a long time. And so when you've got guys like Joel Klatt and Kirk Herbstreit's talking about us on his podcast, and you're getting this, it's easy to drink that Kool-Aid, man. It's easy for the fan base to say,
No.
oh, if they believe it, then I can finally go to the grave saying like we're gonna go undefeated. Look, I would not be shocked if you dropped a game or two in the next 8, but
Which is fine.
which
That's
is fine. But I really do think, and I'm not saying this as as a biased Texas Tech fan, what I've seen on the field is good enough to beat every team left on your schedule. Now, whether you execute that or not is a different story, but you can do it. And we have not felt that way. There's been games like last year, we looked at Iowa State that we ended up winning, and we were like, oh, crap. Like, we've lost to Baylor.
Yeah.
We've lost to TCU. We're going to lose to Iowa State. I think a lot of us picked Iowa State. You know, so
I thought they'd crush us.
you thought like, okay, we're not going to win that game. And we ended up winning that game. And so I do think as I'm looking at the next 8 games, I'm going, okay, like you can make a case that you could win these games pretty easily. And we just haven't been there before. So I'm fine if the fan base wants to jump on the bandwagon and say, we're going to boat race everyone. We're going to step on their necks and we're just going to crush the Big 12. And Conrad's going to do that the next 8 weeks. But
why would you
be okay if you do drop one? Like if you're 7-1, 8-1 going into BYU, I'm very happy still and feel very good about your chances.
Okay, so here was the thing: when we talked at the beginning of the season, we knew the roster, we knew everything. We said, I think all of us would have taken 10-2. Now I know the circumstances have changed. You've beaten Utah. Here's the thing where I think it's going to be ridiculous. It's like people right now would probably say 10-2 is a disappointment, and that to me is just like
I'm just staring at Conrad.
Okay, wait.
Like he's
Would
wet.
you-
He's ready.
So
would I
right
take
now, if you were
right
I'm
now?
waiting. I'm
No.
patient.
exactly.
no, I wouldn't.
No,
take 10-2.
I very much think it's possible that we drop a game, but I will be picking Tech in every single game.
Yeah,
I'll
there's
remove
no
some
reason not
suspense,
to.
but like I'm not going to pick us to lose the rest of the way, unless obviously
nobody
things
is.
change. Yeah.
Yes.
well, here's
It's-
where, and think about this.
Here's
too.
the thing.
Oh, go ahead, C. Go ahead.
It's like we beat one allegedly good team. Like Utah's biggest calling card is that they like kind of hammered Wyoming and beat a West Virginia team missing their starting QB and starting running back and starting best wide receivers. Like, are we sure Utah is like really, really good? Like, I think they are. I think they're the second best team. And I think we're really good. Like, I believe that. I just don't. There's not as much like certainty where it's like, oh yeah, dude, you crushed 3 Power 5 teams with ease. Like,
Yeah, but a lot of teams haven't done that yet. Like, look
you're exactly right. Like Texas hasn't even beaten the Power 5
yeah,
team
Texas is up the, and we'll get into our top 25 here in a second, but a lot of teams haven't done that yet. So you're still judging them based off pretty much brand in what they're doing. And so, except for maybe Oregon at this point, right? They've got a key win on the road. So, and Utah, it's still something to be said, dude. I think maybe they're not good, but then you go out and crush an opponent on the road, regardless who West Virginia is, 48-14. And Dan Pierre in that game throws for 21 of 26 for 4 touchdowns. So he looked like a better quarterback than he did against you. So that tells me you're much better than a lot of the competition in the Big 12. And that's why I just feel like, yeah, I think it's fair to pick Tech to win, like Clayton said, the rest of the way every game. I think you should be favored in every game the rest of the way.
Which you're probably going to be favored. And the only one could maybe be Arizona State. That's
Now,
the only one that you might not be
your
favored
point on the before Conrad gets to go, Conrad's been so patient, but on you called it in a what'd you say, an apocalyptic man, I need some speech therapy, dude. But whatever it is, the response.
It's Bill's Mafia. It's getting to you.
Bill. It's dude. I'm still recovering on a Thursday. If you like do drop a game and the fan base goes nuts, I do think that's also a little unfair. I will say that
for
too.
sure.
Yeah, like
well, I guess depending on what game it is.
Yeah, you drop a game to Oklahoma State.
Okay. Yeah,
Oklahoma State is going to be levels of bad in the Big 12 that we have not seen in a really long time.
Yeah.
What about that Baylor 1-11 team?
Dude, I think it's going to be close to that. Like, they're going to be horrible.
Hey, did y'all pick up on that Baylor dig?
I did.
Okay.
I did. All right, Conrad.
Am I allowed to speak?
You've been patiently waiting. Please go. Please go.
Well, Texas Tech fans, Houston Cougar fans, Big 12 fans, if you're listening, get comfortable because I'm about to go for a while. No, I'm just kidding. I will say I feel like I've said this before. I don't like the we've never done this before argument. Again, it's because this is a different team, a different era, a different coaching staff. I have a really hard time getting behind that argument. Like I'm not saying that there's not merit there. I just don't know how much merit it holds in my mind. I think based on what we've seen so far, and even what we've seen up close, watching the Kent State game and Oregon State game from the field and seeing these guys and how they're moving together. I mean, we did not have it. If we lose one game, I'm not going to be that disappointed, of course, unless it's Oklahoma State. But I don't see why you wouldn't pick Tech to win every game. I mean, I just don't think we're the class of the conference so far. And that's not being arrogant. That's not being, it's just, it is what it is. Like and I think Zyler's a little uncomfortable in that position because again, we've never been there before. And I think a lot of us are uncomfortable with it, but we gotta relish it because that's what has happened when you invest the way you do. And so I have no issue with us being picked to win every game. I have no issue with us being extremely confident in the offense and the defense in Joey. I mean, this team is different. It's obvious from all the stuff you see behind the scenes. It's obvious from what you see on the field, most importantly. And so I have no issue with Texas Tech fans being as high on their team as they are, because what else would you want? I mean, what else would you want? What else would you hope to see? And that's the thing with Texas Tech is like when we believe in our team, you're going to hear about it because we're pretty loud and we're pretty proud. And so I don't know that I have an issue with it at all. Now, I would caution people against like if you do lose one game, saying this is terrible because that's not realistic. That's not right. But then again, the people like myself that are sitting here saying like, yeah, I think we could beat every team left on our schedule by 10 points or more. I think that's a pretty reasonable take based on what we've seen so far and based on what we're going to see on Saturday night in Houston.
Joel Klatt also said we're the class of the Big 12. Just
yeah, Joel. Hey, can I respond to Joel too? Hey, yeah, Joel,
he's coming on soon, so you can talk to him in person. But go ahead,
Joel. No. Joel, we've been saying this since like July. So I mean, about time you came around to what the real media were spewing on YouTube.
There you go. All right, two more quick.
Well said, Conrad. I do want to say that. I did want to take a point that Clayton said, and I think he brought it up, but we didn't really get to flesh it out. I did my own research this morning. Texas Tech is in the top 5 in SP Plus for probably the first time ever. I could not find an instance of SP Plus not having an SEC team in the top 5 since, I went back to 2019 and I haven't been able to find one. So if anybody does find an instance of SP Plus not having an SEC team in the top 5, that's just really cool. That Indiana, I think it's Penn State, Oregon, and Ohio State are all in the top 5, and you're playing like a blue blood. That's really sick, and I don't want to take away from that. I hope that my probabilistic outcome measuring stick doesn't take away from how awesome I think our team is. They're sick.
What's the word you used again?
Let us know what you think of Zyler's take in the comments.
Apocalyptic.
Apocalyptic?
Apocalyptic. It's what when my daughter doesn't get her way, she goes apocalyptic.
Apocalyptic. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Awesome. All right. Well, let's do 2 quick over-unders and we'll get to our pick'ems and our prediction. Because this one I got to say, because why not create some controversy here on the Broadway Shuffle? Over under 4.5 snaps for Will Hammond.
It's over. I think we use him in like a red zone package. And then maybe he plays like the last drive.
Okay.
Yeah.
The last drive to win the game or just as a blowout?
We're down 3. We bring in Will. No, in a blowout.
Could you imagine?
I'll go under. I'll go under.
I'm going
4.5.
I'm going to say under too. I don't think he sees the field. But
I'm
we'll
going
see.
under.
I think he does see the field, though. I would take the over on a half snap.
Okay.
I think he's going to play.
Okay. Nice. All right. Last one. Over under 25% of the stadium being Texas Tech fans.
Over.
All right.
Over.
I like that.
Like
Over.
50%.
No one
Like
here is
Houston
going to the game.
had
Right?
lost last
we're not
week,
going,
I think
are
it would
we?
be-
Yeah.
Okay.
Dude, I wish I could be there. That'd be
What were
so
you saying,
fun.
Clay?
I was going to say, if Houston had actually ended up losing that game, I think it would be like 50-50. I think all the Houston fans would have sold their tickets.
You can still buy tickets if you want them. So, not sold out yet.
Okay. Well, that's good to know.
Which, respect to the Houston Athletic Department for not announcing the fake sell-out with some of our friends. in Salt Lake
yes.
City.
We will find you if you do.
I will bring that up again.
Yeah, so do not do that, Big 12. Okay, let's get to our Big 12 and national pick'em. We'll pick Texas Tech Houston here in just a second. Let's start with Vandy and Bama, a rematch of where it all went wrong for Bama last year. Vandy comes in undefeated, ranked, I think, 16th in the country. Who do we like in this game?
Are we sure we want to platform Conrad to talk about Ty Simpson again?
Is
this something that we're willing to do?
I think we're going to start it there. Oh, but then, sorry, the next game we're picking is Texas, Florida. So we're going to get it out of the way.
I'm taking Alabama by 17.
Okay.
I think they cruise.
I'm going Bama.
Should we sing "Sweet Home Alabama"? Or
you should.
or
I'd
what?
love to hear you sing, man. You sometimes
wanna hear me sing?
You bring that up quite a bit on. Should we sing? I think you're ready to let those pipes out, man.
We should sing the Matador song after we win the national championship. If we win the national championship, you will hear all 4 of us together singing the Matador song.
That's
on the
fair.
podcast. That is a
I'll do that.
If we
guarantee.
win the national championship, you are not going to see me on this podcast for like 3 weeks, and I'm not going to tell anybody what I'm doing, and nobody needs to.
No one needs to know. No one needs to know.
That is my promise to you. I will be in Miami, and join me if you want.
Tyler's gonna end up on a boat going to Cuba somewhere.
I'm gonna get blown up because I think I'm trafficking narcotics.
Alabama by 24. Ty Simpson
right.
throws 4 touchdowns.
Clayton.
I got Bama winning, but I actually think Vandy covers.
Okay.
Diego
I like
Pavia just has that dog in him.
The dog.
He
You
does
can't
have that
equate
dog.
that.
Yeah,
He's a Rocco back.
can't
He's a
replace the
gamer.
gamer dog. By the way, do we have a record of our picks so far this year? We need to get that so we can keep each other
Yeah,
accountable.
I actually haven't lost one yet.
Okay. Wow. It's crazy.
Undefeated
Z.
so far.
I'm not surprised.
If a shuffler wants to keep track of those, we'd greatly appreciate it.
I'll go back and find it for next week so we can have a tally of it. But all right, Texas, Florida. Conrad, going to you first. Who do you like?
Yeah, Texas gets it right. I think they win. I think you're going to see Arch Manning play well finally, and play well against a real opponent. So I'm going to take Texas. I don't know what the line is, but it doesn't matter. I'm taking Texas.
6.5.
I think the better quarterback prevails, and DJ Lagway pulls it out in Florida.
I'm doing that as well.
5 interception DJ Lagway.
Hey, listen,
You can
man,
say
he got
what you
him
want
all.
about Arch, but he did not.
He got a lot of the. I'm going to die on the Florida train. I thought they were going to be good. I was
So
riding
did
with
I.
Clayton. I'm going to go down with the ship. Give me Florida.
One thing that I've realized is I'm horrible at picking teams to be good, but I am almost batting 1,000 at picking teams to be mid. If I say your team is bad, just pack it up.
Jump on it. Yeah.
It's over. But I will take Texas in like one of the ugliest games of the year, like 17-10. Yeah.
This is Big Ten West.
Yeah.
Written on it.
I'm taking Florida. I think this is where
love it,
Texas
dude.
drops and you start freaking out a little bit, losing to 1-3s, chomp chomp. So we'll see what happens there. Come on, DJ, get it done against Arch. All right, let's do Miami, Florida State. Florida State coming off the loss at Virginia. We riding with Carson Beck here in Miami because I'm going.
I have no read on this game.
I'm going Florida State. I'm a Florida guy this weekend.
I think I want the Seminoles, but I don't know. Dude, that Miami defensive line is like the one that I think, my word, they might be better than yours.
Yeah. I think they are. Yeah.
Ruben
taking
Bain
Miami.
is like Ruben Bain is the closest thing I've seen to Myles Garrett since Myles Garrett. He is incredibly good.
Yeah. He should be in the Heisman race, honestly.
Yeah. He is a very good player.
I'll take Miami, but I think it's an incredible game. I think it's like by a field goal.
Okay, Conrad.
He's got the U.
I've got the U.
He's got the U.
It's all about the U.
It's all about the U for Conrad. All right, let's go Iowa State, Cincy. We've got 3 Big 12 games we're picking. We'll run through them here real quick. This is an interesting game to me. Is Cincy going to pull the upset off?
Dude, I'm riding with the Bearcats. They were one of my teams at the beginning of the year. If you're a faithful listener, I was like, I think Cincy can actually be pretty good this year. Don't mind my pick about Arizona actually being good. Also, of note, Iowa State lost both of their starting corners, Jeremiah Cooper and Jontez Williams, both done for the year with torn ACLs. I think that matters. I think Brendan Sorsby, the last time people probably really watched him was in that Nebraska game, and he's actually been really, really good since then. He hits one pass in that Nebraska game. They're probably like the talk of the season. So I'm going to take Cincinnati, and I think they win pretty soundly.
Okay.
Biggest game of the Scott Satterfield era by far.
I was shocked to see the line Cincinnati by 1.5, but you're right. I mean, after digging into it, like Cincinnati legitimately has one of the best offenses in the country so far.
They're cooking people.
Yeah. I still think Iowa State pulls it out. I just trust Matt Campbell more than I trust Scott Satterfield. So I think they pull out a close one.
Yeah, I think it's interesting how we pick the good games first, and then we save the worst 3 for last, but that's neither here nor there. I'll go with the Iowa State Cyclones to beat the Cincinnati Bearcats. I think it'd be close, though.
Conrad, you think Texas-Florida is going to be a good game? That is the definition of a helmet decal game.
That is so true.
Those teams are
watching Iowa State and Cincinnati, or watching Texas, Florida. Give me Texas, Florida 100 times out of 100. Not even a question.
Guess
not even a question.
Texas and Florida rank in third down completion percentage or third down conversion percentage.
Oh, I'm assuming it's below both of those schools. Below Iowa
it's
State.
Like in the 120s. That is going to be a terrible game. It's going to be one of the worst games that everybody watches this week. That is the definition of a decal game.
Okay.
That game will suck to watch.
I can't wait till it's like 31-27.
It will be 31-27 in 8 overtime.
In 8 overtimes.
Insane.
Yeah.
Iowa State Cincinnati is a better game on paper.
Okay.
I'll die on that.
Okay, we have 2 games
I'm
left.
not watching it.
I don't know why we picked these 2 games. You're a part of a Big 12 school.
No, I'm a part of a Texas Tech podcast.
This was a Big 12 podcast. We're the Big 12.
I think the conference loyalty thing is way overrated, but that's a conversation for another day.
Okay, well, let's get to more Big 12 play just for Conrad then. Kansas State and Baylor quickly. I don't know why we've got this game, honestly. This is a game on ESPN Plus. I maybe tune it in. I'm going to go Wildcats here. I think the Dave Aranda hot seat gets kicked up a notch, a heavy notch. I like the upset here. Baylor 6.5 favorites.
Okay, so who's more likely to get fired at the end of the year, Sonny Dykes or Dave Aranda?
Dave Aranda.
Can we have both, please?
For sure.
Dave Aranda for sure.
Aranda.
I think
The fact that this game is on ESPN Plus at 11 a.m. is so funny to me after what their fans thought of their teams coming into the year. Hilarious.
Yeah. I think this is the Big 12 title elimination game. I think both of these teams could still get there theoretically. But you start, 1 and 2. That's going to be, and Baylor's already got the win over Oklahoma State that everybody's going to get that plays them. So elimination game for the conference title. I still think Kansas State could get there if they get everything figured out. But give me the Bears. I think that Wildcat team I think has some issues that I don't think they're actually going to overcome.
Same. I'll take Baylor. Give me their offense is too good.
Yep.
Second what Clayton said.
Sawyer Robertson is going to have an insane year, like statistically. He is going to put up a ton of passing yards.
Where's he drafted? What round is he going to be drafted in? 3rd, 4th round?
4th round.
Okay. Please, Cowboys,
let's
take him.
Quickly pick Kansas UCF just because Kansas is your next opponent at home in Lubbock. Will they be coming in 4-2 or 3-3?
Give me the Jayhawks.
I'll take Kansas as well.
I'm riding Kansas as well here.
I'm going Kansas.
Okay. 4-0 for Kansas. Now the game you've all been waiting for. Yes, we saved the best for last. Why wouldn't we? Texas Tech at Houston, 6 o'clock in Houston. Or is it 6:30? What am I thinking?
It's 6 o'clock.
Yeah, it's Kansas at 6:30. Got those two confused. Who do we like? I think we know where we're going based off our conversation 20 minutes ago, but is there anyone picking Houston to win this game?
No way.
I genuinely feel like I've seen some like national people pick Houston, and I genuinely feel that if you're picking Houston to win this game, especially with most of the scores being like 30-27, you haven't watched either of these teams. And that's not to say that they could not beat us, because that is possible. But like if you actually watched their games, you would not predict that to happen.
Yeah, that score to me, like Houston winning by that would be like, I think they can win a 17-14, like, close, like you have a ton of turnovers. Like they definitely can beat you. I don't want to say that, but I agree with Clayton. That score projection is like really weird to me.
So where are we going? What's the score predictions then for you guys?
34-7.
31-13. I think Houston's got a good kicker. I think they'll move the ball a little bit. And I think they, let's say it's 24-10 at halftime, and then you score again, and you just kind of play keep away for the rest of the second half.
Yeah. I got 34-13, so pretty close to Zyler.
Okay, I was hanging out with a loyal listener from day one, Ryan Hawkins, today. He gave me a 38-17 prediction, so I'm going to ride with Ryan's prediction there, 38-17 Texas Tech. This team's legit, man. I really feel like this is a time to say, okay, you're not fully believing us after Utah. Well, let us show us what we can do against another road game against maybe lesser competition than Utah. We're here for real. If you don't already believe it, you're going to believe it after Saturday night. I think Texas Tech makes that statement. I can't wait, man. It's going to be a blast. So we've got an episode coming up on Monday, a reaction episode. Be on the lookout for that. We'll have a player joining us Monday as well. So if you're new to the Broadway Shuffle and you've enjoyed listening to our show, make sure to follow us on all of our social medias. You can find them in the description below. Subscribe on YouTube, follow on Spotify or Apple. Give us some love. We appreciate all of you guys that have been listening from day one. Dude, our shufflers are coming in hot this year. The comments have been on fire. The Twitter has been great. We love hearing from you guys. So make sure to give us your thoughts and opinions below as well. And we'll see you guys on Monday. Enjoy the weekend. Texas Tech at Houston, going to be a blast. We'll be back to react to it and much more on Monday morning. Everyone have a great weekend. Stay safe and Recom Tech. We'll see you next time on the Broadway Shuffle.
He makes the catch. He's going all the way. 20, 15, 10.